Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grid Tonight, your weekly motorsports news program. I'm Kobe Lambeth from the Podium Finish, and with me is our Supercars expert, Adam Lemerise. We encourage all of our viewers out there to share your questions and comments in the chat room below. We are so excited and very happy to announce that Grid Tonight is back on the air live once again. Be on the lookout for a new episode every Wednesday night here live. On the agenda this evening, Jeff Gordon's future in the Fox Sports booth might be up in the air. Matt White has the latest update in the GRID Motorsport League and an update on the Gen 3 regulations in supercars. First, let's start off with a report that dropped yesterday from the Sports Business Journal. Yesterday, Adam Stern from the Sports Business Journal reported that Jeff Gordon might depart his role at Fox Sports in the broadcast booth. The four-time Cup Series champion and Hall of Fame driver joined NASCAR on Fox in 2016, started off working alongside Mike Joy and Darrell Waltrip, but old DW retired from broadcasting in 2019, which left Gordon and Mike Joy as a duo calling the races last year in the two-man booth. This year, Fox added recently retired driver Clint Bowyer to the booth with Gordon and Joy. Many wondered how Bowyer and Gordon would work together considering their history from that little dust up at Phoenix. So far, it's been playful banter, picking at each other, with Gordon been in the booth for several years now. And an issue that has always come up is a conflict of interest, continuing to play a role at Hendrick Motorsports after his retirement from NASCAR. It might lead some to question his ability to remain objective and unbiased in the broadcast booth, and Adam Stern says that Jeff Gordon is currently weighing his future options, enjoying his time calling the races with Mike Joy and Clint Bowyer. But the possibility of having a larger role at Hendrick Motorsports is very intriguing to him. This weekend's All Star Race weekend at Texas Motor Speedway is the final race with Fox Sports this year, and it very well could be Jeff Gordon's final one in the broadcast booth. NBC Sports is taking over NASCAR coverage the following week at Nashville Super Speedway. First question for you, Adam. Is it the right time for Jeff Gordon to take a bow out of the booth next Sunday night and head for a more significant role at Hendrick Motorsports?
Overall, I believe Jeff Gordon will stay with Fox Sports for a while. He, Mike Joy, and Clint Bowyer have been very fun to watch during the 2021 NASCAR season. Jeff Gordon is openly one of the winningest drivers in Hendrick Motorsports history. And if he were to leave the broadcast booth and overall become the permanent owner when Rick Hendrick decides to retire, I think that would be the right move. We don't know when that will be, but it probably will happen within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yes, definitely. It's going to be interesting to watch and see what happens next with Jeff Gordon and Hendrick Motorsports. I know Adam Stern said that Gordon's been really enjoying the three-man booth alongside Joy and Bowyer, but when you're looking at Hendrick Motorsports, there's a lot on the line there in the future, especially since Mr. H isn't getting any younger out there, and Jeff Gordon's had a long personal and professional relationship with Rick Hendrick. So it's definitely going to be something we'll want to follow moving forward. And with a lot of current Cup owners who have been in the garage for many years, like Jack Roush, Richard Childress, and Rick Hendrick, as I mentioned, getting older. The future of their teams will be up in the air at some point down the road. Recently, we saw the reports about the potential of Brad Keselowski joining the ownership group at Roush Fluminense Racing. Jack Roush, the team owner, is 79 years old. Rick Hendrick's a little bit younger at age 71. It's no secret that Jeff Gordon could become a favorite to take over as team owner of Hendrick Motorsports someday when Mr. H decides it's time to move on. Looking at the future of HMS, is Gordon the only answer moving forward?
You know, Kobe, I'm going to have to say yes. Like I just said, he's one of Hendrick Motorsports' most winningest drivers. He captured all of his NASCAR Cup Series titles with Hendrick. He is overall considered to be one of the greatest NASCAR drivers in history. And when Mr. H does decide to retire, I believe Jeff Gordon is the right option to take over at Hendrick Motorsports. He knows the history of the organization very well. And overall, I say within the next 3 to 5 years, you'll see Jeff Gordon taking over for Rick Hendrick as permanent owner of Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, yes, I do think it's inevitable that Jeff Gordon will eventually be the successor for Rick Hendrick at Hendrick Motorsports. Look, Rick Hendrick was the one who signed him to a lifetime contract, and nowadays a lifetime contract is really unheard of, and you have to be really special in order to earn one of those. Like you mentioned, Jeff Gordon knows the history of Hendrick Motorsports. They've had a long relationship lasted for decades. Jeff Gordon was the one who got Mr. H to sign the seven-time Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson when Jimmy Johnson was an unproven Xfinity driver. Gordon encouraged Rick Hendrick to take a shot at him, and it worked out. So it shows Jeff Gordon certainly has an eye for talent. And when Rick Hendrick decides that he wants to retire from NASCAR team ownership, it seems like Jeff Gordon is the right one to take Hendrick Motorsports into the next era for the team when it's time. And in the broadcast booth, it's been an interesting how the lineups have been put together. I remember when Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry McReynolds shared the booth together at lead analyst, retired driver, and retired crew chief. When Gordon joined Joy and Waltrip, still had the lead analyst, but two retired Cup drivers. Same thing now with Boyer and Gordon over at NBC Sports. Rick Allen, the lead analyst. We have Steve Letarte with a crew chief's perspective. Two retired drivers, Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr. In your opinion, if Jeff Gordon leaves, should Gordon be replaced by another retired driver, or would Fox Sports benefit by adding a crew chief's perspective?
Well, for me, if you look at the Xfinity Series races, it's been Adam Alexander, former driver Michael Waltrip, and you've had several current drivers in the booth. Among them are Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon. But in the end, I believe you would need someone, who has a lot of NASCAR history beside Mike Joy and Clint Boyer. For me, one person you could look out for if he decides to retire is Kevin Harvick. I believe he would be a good match. He knows now he's been in NASCAR for a long time, going back to when it was known as the NASCAR Winston West Series. He's competed in the old Southwest Tour Series for a long time, competed in the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and now Cup Series. So he has a lot of knowledge for NASCAR. So if Jeff Gordon does decide to go on and have a bigger role at Hendrick Motorsports, one driver to me to keep an eye out for is Kevin Harvick.
And it's really interesting that you mentioned Kevin Harvick, Adam, because I remember at some point when he was doing those Xfinity races on the side for NASCAR and Fox, a lot of people thought that Harvick would be going to the broadcast booth sooner rather than later. And then it seemed like Harvick was gonna continue driving in the Cup Series for several more years, and broadcasting wasn't in his feature for the time being. And it's really gonna be interesting if Gordon decides to leave. Who are they gonna replace him within the booth? Are they going to go back to the two-man booth that we saw last year with Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon, or are they going to continue with the three-man booth and bring someone else in? For me, I like to see them add a crew chief up there. I know a lot of people on social media, fans, have really wanted to see Larry McReynolds back up in the booth because I feel like he adds a lot to the broadcast when he comes into the broadcast, crunching the numbers and all of that. It seems like people really enjoy that perspective. And if I had to make a guess, I'd say maybe they put Larry Mack back in the booth, or if not, go for another retired crew chief to have that perspective of lead analyst, retired driver, and retired crew chief. And now looking at some news that coming out of the World Endurance Championship, after enjoying a lot of success together in GT racing all over the world, Ferrari is continuing its partnership with AF Corsa. AF Corsa is going to fill Ferrari's new LMH program beginning in 2023. The Prancing Horses' new prototype will be able to fight for the overall win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans and other FIA World Endurance Championship events. The team will be entered as Ferrari, AF Corsa, and they'll look to build on the 3 GTE Pro Class victories at Le Mans and 6 Team and Drivers Championships in GTE Pro and GTE Am. Next, here's Matt White with a Grid World Motorsport League update.
Hi guys, it's Matt White here from the GRID World Motorsport League. Time for another update on our brand new top 10 after what was an extremely busy weekend of action in and around the top 10 standings. For most of the Formula 1 Grand Prix at Baku, it looked like Max Verstappen was going to take back the lead of the Grid World Motorsport League from Jonathan Rea, but with that puncture tyre failure at the end of the race means he doesn't take the lead, and in fact he slips from second down to 7th position in the standings. We have a new leader, and it's Nicholas Maulini, who is the championship leader in LMP3 in the ELMS Cool Racing, along with his car sharing teammate Nicholas Critton, who slipped to 8th. They came 3rd in the race at Paul Ricard on Saturday. So Maulini is top, and in 3rd place another new entry, Louis Delatraz, one of WRT's LMP2 drivers. He slides into 3rd. So Ray stays 2nd. He's in action this week as the World Superbike Championship continues with 3 more races. Sebastian Ogier won the Rally of Italy, Bani Sardinia, so that jumps him up from 10th to 5th. And with Lewis Hamilton's mistake at the end of the Baku Grand Prix, he slips down to 10th. So we've got a bit of a shuffle going on this week in the top 10. What would be Le Mans 24 Hours weekend on a normal year, but of course they're in Portimao this weekend. Double IndyCar action, IMSA, and it's NASCAR. The All-Star race does not count towards World Motorsport League points, but of course the Xfinity and truck races on Saturday do. So we've got another busy weekend of action. British Touring Cars back in action as well this coming weekend. Our performer of the weekend was the man that jumped the most places this week in the standings, and that was Estonian Formula 2 driver Yuri Vips. He got 2 victories at Baku from the 3 Formula 2 races. So congratulations to Yuri on a great weekend, and he jumps up in the standings and gets our performer of the weekend award. That busy weekend I mentioned coming up this week, and don't forget to check us out on Twitter. It's at GRID_WML, or just search for the World Motorsport League. As the season kicks on through the summer, expect plenty more changes in the top 10 in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, make sure you're following the Grid World Motorsport League on Twitter at GRID_WML. Thank you once again, Matt White, for the update. Last week, the Repco Supercars Championship announced that the Gen 3 regulations would be delayed to August 2022, citing challenges with international supply chains and ongoing domestic disruptions caused by the global pandemic. In the short term, the series is looking to focus on getting the Chevrolet Camaro and Ford Mustang prototypes online and testing the new components. Adam, given the challenge of trying to have the Gen 3 cars ready to go at the start of the 2022 season, did Supercars make the right move to delay?
Oh, yes, I believe so. I mean, right now, if regarding all the international stuff with COVID, I believe it was the right decision to delay. And overall, when those Gen 3 cars roll out, hopefully in 2023, the fans are going to get a real kick out of them. We all know the Chevrolet Camaro, and we all know the Ford Mustang. Both brands are popular, known worldwide. So I believe it'll attract a lot more Supercars viewers, not only in Australia and New Zealand, but across the globe.
In the mid-2000s, we saw NASCAR introduce the car tomorrow at select races a year before completely switching to the car at all of the races. At the start of 2022, we'll see the current Holdens and Fords, then a switch in the final half of the season to the brand new Chevy Camaros and the Ford Mustang. Do you think Supercars should have considered something similar to what NASCAR did? Maybe have the new car at 1 or 2 race weekends in the last half of 2022, then begin a full rollout at the beginning of the 2023 season?
I believe when it comes to the Gen 3 cars, they should wait until the 2023 season to debut them. So it gives everyone an equal opportunity to race them. I know a lot of people in the supercars industry will miss seeing the Holden on the track. It's been a brand that's been well known in the supercars going back to when it was known as the Australian Touring Car Championship. Some of the supercars legends that have won Holdens are Mark Scaife, Shane Van Gisbergen, who won last year's Bathurst 1000, and the late great Peter Brock, who is known as King of the Mountain. So when Supercars goes to the Gen 3 car in 2023, I believe that it won't lose a lot of fans because, like I just said, Everyone knows the Chevrolet Camaro and the Ford Mustang. So it'll be great action on track in 2023.
I'm definitely with you, Adam. It kind of surprised me, to be honest, that they decided to run the first half of the season with the current cars and then switch into the Gen 3 cars in the second half of the season. I think honestly it would have been better for them to wait till 2023 so you can start for everybody can start off fresh and new. So the teams aren't balancing the current equipment and then trying to get everything ready to go with everything new. I think it would be more suitable, in my opinion, if Supercars decided to debut the car one or two races, well, one or two race weekends in 2022, just to give us a little tease of what it's going to look like, and then for the big races like the Bathurst 1000, use the current cars and wait to use the new car at all of the rounds in 2023. But right now, Supercars August 2022 is circled on everybody's calendar as everyone's going to be looking forward to the new Chevrolet Camaro and Ford Mustang. And one of the new components that's a hot topic inside the Supercars paddock is the potential switch from the manual sequential stick shift to paddle shifts. Whether or not Supercars decides to go to paddle shifts or not, automatic electric shifting will be a part of the series feature regardless. In reference to those paddle shifts, a large number of folks don't want it, including current championship points leader Shane Van Gisbergen, and his teammate Jamie Whincup is the highest ranking person to speak out in support of them. Adam, why are paddle shifts such a divisive topic in supercars?
Well, when it comes to paddle shifts, I believe it makes cars easier, and to share some news regarding Gen 3 and paddle shifts, Walkinshaw Integrated United owner Ryan Walkinshaw posted a poll on Twitter on June 1st asking people if he would like to see the paddle shifts in the Gen 3 cars. 81% of the people said no, including myself. 19% of the people said yes. One person commented on Ryan's tweet saying he would like to see the manual H shift back in the cars so we can see the drivers shifting during all the in-camera shots that series has. I believe that the supercars will go back to the H pattern on the cars, and I believe it would give the drivers a lot more. It'd give the drivers more challenges compared to the paddle shifts.
Yeah, when looking at the drivers, it really does seem like it's a matter of, because the drivers that when they're in the cars, they want a challenge. They want to be able to fight every lap and let their talent shine, instead of having something that takes away a bit of the challenge of driving one of those Australian supercars and moving forward. It's going to be interesting to see which direction the series heads in terms of sticking to what we've already had versus the paddle shifts. It seems like most drivers and fans of supercars do not want the paddle shifts at all, but there are some people who do, and Supercars is continuing to evaluate this situation, and this is definitely a story that we'll keep on following and sticking with Supercars. Four-time winner of the Bathurst 1000, Greg Murphy is coming out of retirement to make his first start in the great race since 2014. He'll share a wild card entry from Erebus Motorsport with backing from Boost Mobile, alongside another Kiwi driver coming out of retirement, and that driver is Richie Stanaway. He's back in auto racing for the first time since 2019 when he last drove for Gary Rogers Motorsport. And here's our Supercars expert Adam Lemerise with more on Greg Murphy's career.
Thank you, Kobe. Greg Murphy is a Supercars legend. He is known for two things that happened in the Bathurst 1000 besides his 4 wins. He is known for a lap in, I believe it was the top 10 shootout. It was known as the lap of the gods. He was the first driver to do the Bathurst circuit in under 2 minutes and 7 seconds. It was 2 minutes, 6 seconds and change. And when he did it, the crowd went absolutely crazy. Nobody thought it could be done. Not even the commentators at the time. Matt White, and current commentator Neil Crompton. Another thing that Greg Murphy is known for is a fight that happened between him and then driver, now former driver, Marcus Ambrose. They crashed going into a turn known as the cutting. And when it happened, the track was completely blocked. And when they got out of the cars, there were heated words exchanged between both of them. As a Supercars fan, this is going to be really cool to see. You're going to have two former series drivers competing at the Bathurst 1000 that are well known, Russell Ingall and Greg Murphy. If I'm a fan of Supercars, I would be watching the Bathurst 1000 this year and seeing what these two legends can prove back on the track one more time. And don't forget, we will be previewing the Bathurst 1000 here on Grid Tonight in October when it happens.
That's right, Adam. Grid Network. We're going to have the Bathurst 1000 covered when it's time for another edition of the Great Race. And thank you for sharing some insight on Greg Murphy's career. And with that, concludes another episode of Grid Tonight. Please like and subscribe to Grid Network here on YouTube. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We also encourage you to visit our Patreon page and invest with us. Really appreciate Colin. You've been a wonderful, loyal supporter for many months now, and Mark and D Show recently come online recently. Really appreciate our three wonderful Patreon supporters for investing in Grid Network, keeping us on the air long term. And be sure to check out Pawbless. Please consider spoiling your furry friend. They have dog leashes, clothing, and accessories for dogs of all sizes. 10% of your purchase goes toward helping homeless, sick, and rescue dogs. On Thursday morning, we have a new episode of the Women Racing to Win. GT World Challenge America competitor Erin Vogel joins us to discuss her big win at Virginia International Raceway last weekend. You definitely don't want to miss my interview with Erin, including commentary from our co-hosts, Joe Samniego and Daniel Zeri from Racers, the girls behind the helmet. For Adam Lemerise, I'm Cubby Lambeth from the Podium Finish. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Joe Samniego here. Want to invite you to go check out Pawbless. Pawbless is a dog clothing and accessory company based in Austria. 10% of each of your purchases goes to helping dogs in need, whether it's homeless, sick, or ill dogs. This is one of the reasons why we support it. Kiska here is a rescue dog from rural Alaska and our Grid office dog. We care about our furry buddies, and we know you do as well. Definitely check out pawbless.com. There's a link on the video description, and by clicking on that link, you get a 10% discount on your purchase as well.